Everything you need to know about products and services that can improve your life. This is Experts on Call on CL 650.
This is a house that Jack built, y'all.
We are back, and this is Strata Life, part of Experts on Call here at CL 650. I'm George Gordon. In studio, Dan O'Hearn from Key Pacific Property Management. Also joining us, Yang Fei, the operations manager at Strata Engineering, and Caleb Donald, the project manager at CanStar Restorations. Let's consider that depreciation reports can be scary enough. Restoration after an emergency situation does not have to be scary, doesn't have to be stressful, or random. So let's suggest that a series of emergency situations has happened. Let's say the Strata has had some expensive emergency repairs in the last couple of years, and we'd like to do what we can to prepare for future emergencies. What can owners do to be prepared for a loss in their Strata unit? Who wants to take a crack at that one?
Sounds like a great Caleb question.
I think so.
I don't mind taking this one. So one of the things that we can do is be proactive to your unit. So to all your supply lines, to your sinks, your toilets, your dishwashers, whatever the case may be, your washer and dryer, washing machine, braided lines. Braided lines are excellent because they don't expand and contract. They stay the same. And it's very rare to get a water damage from a braided line. Very rare. One of the things as well is don't leave your appliances running when you leave, because you never know what can happen. If you're home and it happens, you can get on it right away. But if you leave for 3 hours, nobody can get to your home to stop that water. Also know where those water shutoffs are if you are home and it happens. Then you can quickly shut them off and really minimize the damage to the unit, and it may affect a unit below you as well. But also, most importantly, is the water shutoffs, but your Strata information. Who's on Strata Council? Who to contact? If there is a water damage, who do they contact? Your insurance information. Contact them right away. And you never know, a phone call to a restoration company is always a good idea as well.
Just to have an idea what you're in for. Now, when you talk about appliances, we're talking dishwashers, clothes washers, but even non-waters, even leaving your dryer going. I suppose, fire possibilities there?
There's a possibility there. You should always, get your ducts cleaned every once in a while, and Strata can always look out for that, but within the budget that they have. But it's really important to really know that your appliances are looked after.
Now, Dan, with your Strata managers, is this something that they bring up with councils on a regular basis? Do you have a plan in place for checking, even if it's a cost to the individual Strata owner? Is it something that, as the good uncle does, and just a little advice to the nephew who owns the Strata?
Caleb hit on a few things that just reminded me we've done shows on emergency preparedness, and some of the things he hit on are really key. And I think whether you're an individual homeowner or a council member, I think water shutoffs are like the critical one. Find it within your own unit, and not every unit always has it, right? So it might be in the hallway, it might be a riser shutoff, so you should probably know about that. And I think there has to be the council members and owners have to be acquainted with that sort of stuff.
So something that should not just even wait for the annual meeting or semi-annual meeting.
No, I mean, in an ideal world, every new council would have a good walk around through the building, and people would be designated in these emergencies to carry out certain tasks, and there might be 2 people who know where to run to shut off water right away.
Right. So this, I think, leads into the next question is broken water heater, if it's in the unit, or one of the appliances. You're helplessly watching this water pour out onto the floor, and you're worried about the mess on your floor. Yeah. But even the amount of damage that's to come below and below and below is what can I do to limit that damage?
Well, again, first of all, get the water shut off. That's first and foremost, because then you don't have any further damage from that. But also in your own unit, just try to do some mitigation on your own, whether it be mopping it up with some towels, just little bits and pieces. Have emergency phone numbers on hand that we've already spoken about, but also some of the furniture, put plastic underneath the legs of some wooden furniture so they don't leave that wood stain to carpet. If laminate gets wet, it's toast. There's nothing you can do to save it, but there are a lot of things you can do to prevent that by yourself in your own unit.
I would think that the biggest villain, if there's a breakdown where water starts leaking, is the sprinkler head, because
Lots of water really
Oh.
quick.
Had no idea.
PSI in those pipes,
So
yeah.
how much water? Is there a number about how many inches of water can flow onto that into your floor in just a very short period of time?
Well, there is a certain pounds per square inch of water that comes out of the sprinkler head at a certain volume. I don't have that number in front of me, but I believe it's substantial. It can devastate a strata in seconds. There's that much water.
I've seen and it smells good too when it comes out. Another strata owner provided us an example where they had recently woke up to find water pouring through the bathroom light from something that was going on upstairs in the unit up above. The restoration company got them cleaned up, and now they have to deal with the insurance. What should I expect when I have a water claim?
Well, one of the things is, first and foremost, the restoration shows up and they start mitigating the loss. So there is an emergency dry down procedure that we follow through. There's a science to what we do with what equipment we put in there to dry out specific items. After that, once we become to dry standard, that means whether the framing, even the drywall, there's a dry standard to all those materials. We dry it down. Then at that point, we're going to quote on repairs. Now, if it's substantial and it's over a deductible and it's quite a significant number, sometimes we get second bids. There is a time frame for that, and it looks like nothing's happening in the building. There's a lot going on behind the scenes. Once they have that quote, then when it's awarded, we line up, whether it be trades or employees, to get in there and start on repairs right away. So there is a little bit of we call it the lull. Unfortunately, it does happen.
Yeah, and that lull is what people have to be prepared for. I mean, basically, you look at something, you figure, oh, that should be done in a week. Triple anything.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's terrible to say, but it's a reality, right?
Staying with the in-laws longer than you expect.
Which gets them more mad at us for that reason.
Well, and I would think just out of peace of mind, if this is lights are coming on for people as we're talking here about the need for the depreciation report, what happens in the event of a catastrophe, and even a little bit of water can be a widespread catastrophe. Dan, am I incorrect in to consider a lot of people may not consider? They figure, well, I moved into a strata. It's up to the building manager and the strata to take care of all the problems. Do a lot of people have to educate themselves in the hard way that, no, you have to do due diligence. You own this property.
Yep.
You have to have at least ask the questions.
Yeah, I mean, you don't always know which questions to ask either. But rule of thumb is everyone is underinsured. We've talked about that frequently. Have a homeowner's policy, and my guess is probably 1/3 of the people are having it done, are getting insurance. Depreciation reports. I don't know how many corporations you suspect have reports. Obviously, everyone you've done is 100%, but
that's right. But I don't have an exact number of I don't think anyone has an exact number of the stratas that have completed. The last time I've heard is like 20%.
Yeah,
but that was some time
I would
ago.
guess it's definitely under 50%, and of the ones that do have it done, I would say maybe a quarter of them are funding it. They have the report, they have the information, but they don't want to fund it.
Absolutely. The reason why is because for all of the reports that we've done, right, the stratas are underfunded. Let's put it plain and simple, right? Because strata fees have been very low in this corner of the country, right? And a lot of stratas are just not properly funding for their capital expenditures. So once the report comes, it suggests a substantial increase in the amount of CRF contribution, right, to avoid special levies. Now, people are shocked once they see that. And that's also why it's really essential for a strata corporation to prioritize what needs to be done first based on the depreciation report. Especially prioritization within a 5-year or 3-year time frame would be key, because there is more uncertainty as your time frame gets longer. So 30 years, if it's too much to stomach all at once, then at least plan for a 5-year or 10-year kind of a range.
So if you're happy that your strata fees are low and people are sort of, we don't have to worry about that right now. We've got another 10 years on that. That really, and we get back to that terminology, Dan, pay me now or pay me later.
Yes.
If I understand in some, you referred to Vancouver paying lower
That's right.
fees and so
Fees.
on.
Yeah.
In Toronto, I understand they can be double what we're seeing in
Absolutely.
Vancouver.
That's
And,
right.
And part of that was the whole problem of underfunding. So
I've got 2 rules of thumb. If you're buying something brand new, budget quickly for about 50 cents per square foot for maintenance fees. Right now, that's kind of where you need to be,
Yeah.
and they won't be that right now with brand new construction. The other thing is if you're in a strata corporation that doesn't have an aggressive CRF, then budget 50% more than what you're currently paying in maintenance fees. So if you're paying $200 in maintenance fees, put another $100 a month aside, and just understand that there's going to be a time you're going to get a letter saying there's a resolution coming for you to pay a special levy.
all right, more coming up now with Key Pacific Strata Life on CL 650. We'll talk about the depreciation report. We'll talk about the preparations that you need to do as a strata owner, the due diligence that you should be taking, or making sure that your strata council is doing, and the questions you should be asking your manager, or that you can expect to hear from your manager. We are joined today with Yang Fei, the operations manager at Strata Engineering, Caleb Donald, the project manager at CanStar Restorations. If you need to ask any questions, you can go to questions@strata.life. This is CL 650.
This is Experts on Call on CL 650.